Hello and welcome to another episode of the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 152. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. Welcome back. This week, we got Sean, TJ, and Chad. First of all, I know you're thinking, TJ, who's that guy? Who's that kid? He has returned.
Aquaman is back.
Aquaman is back.
He's done swimming.
Yep. So for anybody that doesn't know, I live in Southish Louisiana, and we got all those floods. Since the media didn't cover it, y'all might not know about it, but all those floods about a month and a half ago, I guess. We ended up not getting affected, so my family was pretty fortunate with it.
Well, what's your excuse for not being on the show?
I've just been forgetting.
Slacker.
he was locked away in a FEMA camp.
Yeah.
Being re-educated. He's one of Bloomberg's drones now.
He doesn't deny it.
Yeah. So did anyone do anything good in guns this week? Or bad?
What do you consider good? Because I think about the extent was I went to a gun show, the local gun show, and talked to a bunch of my friends and bought nothing. So that's
Had a gun show on a Tuesday?
No, it was Saturday is when I went.
Oh, I thought you said today.
No.
I thought you said
Worst gun show trip ever.
Nah, you know, it's the typical gun show around here. Almost everything is high priced. You can go to local stores and buy it cheaper. So, you know.
Do you have to pay to get in?
No, because I'm a member of the club, so members get in free. So it costs.
So what's the normal cost though?
$6.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what it is down here. But to me, it's like I'm gonna spend $6 to wander around and look at overpriced stuff and beef jerky, and hear somebody clicking a taser for a couple hours.
Nice.
That's right.
I just stopped going to them.
No, you guys don't know how good you have it. Try working one of those things for 3 days straight.
Nope.
Being in a booth next to the taser booth.
Oh, geez, that would be annoying.
No, it's great.
You ever just wait for the guy to like drop it and zap himself?
Well, they should do demonstrations
for that.
They should do demonstrations on each other at the booth to show how well it works.
Well, no, because then nobody'd buy them.
Oh.
You just wait for them to go to lunch, then you just exchange all the batteries out for dead ones.
Actually, a gun show I went to a couple of years ago, I think somebody stole an AK off one of the tables. So that was kind of interesting.
Oh, geez, yeah.
We had one of those happen at the Great American Outdoor Show out here in Harrisburg. This last show, somebody stole a couple of guns.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
If I remember right, more than one of them were NFA-controlled firearms. So
yeah. Were they like NFA prototypes, too?
I don't know. It was custom stuff, but they didn't have it even zip tied to the rack or anything else. So it was kind of like, it's still upsetting that it happened, but at the same time, somewhat victim precipitated.
Right.
Hey, don't blame the victim.
Right. I'm not blaming the victim. I'm just saying you make bad choices. Sometimes bad things happen.
That's crazy. Yeah, I remember who was it? I forgot who it was. One of the people that did that custom like one-off titanium bolt carrier group, and they
SHOT Show.
It just disappeared off the SHOT Show floor, and a few months later they get a little note in a box in the mail and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I must have stuck it in my jacket pocket." It's like, right? I don't know about that.
I remember that.
That was ridiculous.
Sorry for accidentally committing corporate espionage.
Yeah, I had the hardest time trying to fence that thing. It just wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, did you do anything, Ryan?
No, not really. But interesting that you bring up gun shows, because I'm going to go to one here at the beginning of October with Aaron Samuelson, who does the off-road podcast. He's just a little bit north of me, so he wanted me to go to a gun show with him, kind of be his Sherpa in the gun world. So I'll be like, oh man, you should totally buy that. Oh, that's a great deal. You should totally buy that.
Did you tell him to bring like $5,000?
Is that 223 at $1 a round? Oh, you gotta jump on that, dude.
$300 for a high point? You gotta get at least 6.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Good times.
So is he not
that's-
too big of a gun guy?
Oh, he's just getting into it. I mean, he's been to a couple. He's got some guns, and he's been to a couple shows. But I think he kind of wants to. We want to network and actually meet up and meet each other because I mean he's not even 30 minutes away from me, so
nice.
It'll be a good time. Other than that, I've been just doing a lot of work working on Tony's logo for the Second is for Everyone Diversity Shoots, trying to do that justice.
Is that a thing?
That's a thing. And I've been taking actually photos. I got a new camera. Jake hooked me up with a really nice Canon camera, and I've been taking pictures for him for some products for some of our shared clients. So put on like the photographer's hat this last weekend. Doing reviews, which brings me to my next point. I'm going to add this to the announcements, but so last week I kind of did a review of the AAC Blast Out. I think I gave it like an 8.5 rating. Right when the show ended, it broke. When I was trying to just thread it back on the muzzle brake on my divorce so I can put it away, and the latch that has the little teeth that actuate on that interact with the teeth on that muzzle brake. It just the pin. It's kind of like it's got a spring actually in the device, and it's got a pin in the middle of this little latch, and that kind of rocks it back and forth and applies the pressure to the teeth, and that pin came out. And I tried putting it back in, and it just keeps falling straight through the hole freely. So I'm not sure what happened there. The head of the pin might have gotten.
Embarrassing. When
it
the
is.
Hole is too big for the pin.
Yeah, giggity. And so what I'm worried about is, hey, my suppressor that's coming is the same system. I sure hope that maybe they put like a more cost-efficient but yet inferior hardware in this guy, since it's just a blast diffuser and not an actual NFA suppressor. So my hopes for that suppressor is kind of dwindled there because how easy this thing just came apart, and I was literally just throwing it on with one hand while I was finishing talking to Rob at the end of the show. So that's going to affect my review. I'm going to have to revise my score from an 8.5 to a 7, ding a 1.5 for that. But
Breaking.
yeah, for breaking. I'm going to go through my AR-15 parts kits, and I think I might have an extra roll pin that might be small enough to just drive into there and call it good. I'm not going to bother with the factory. But yeah, that's kind of disappointing. So just to let you guys know.
What's that? Give them a call. They might just send you one.
Probably.
And then you don't have to look for it or strip it out of anything else. If they're not willing to take the whole thing back and immediately fix it for you to make it right, they may be willing to just send you a part and let you fix it yourself.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I found the pin, which is crazy because I've got medium pile carpet, and luckily it fell into a trash can and not on the carpet, which I would have never. I'd only found it with my bare feet at that point. But yeah, that's how I was able to see. Hey, the head must have gotten sheared or contracted to where it just falls straight through all the whole pinholes there. So besides that, I'm working on some more reviews for you guys. Next week I want to review a game camera since hunting season is upon us. I actually used this game camera quite a lot last year, and I've got some really sweet pictures that it took both during the daytime and the nighttime. So if you guys are kind of debating, hey, I'm going to get into a game camera, hopefully that'll help you guys decide.
All right, but no spoilers because that's next
spoilers. Week. Yeah, right. There may or may not be a Sasquatch on that film.
Maybe.
I cannot confirm or deny.
What about aliens?
Aliens? No, I'm too far north to catch any aliens crossing on my camera.
Not those ones. The ones from the other border.
Wow.
Canadians? I don't know. I don't know. So announcements. The bandwidth sponsor is Patriot Patch Co. We do have some new patches on the website. So first off, we've got camping. So it's a picture of a little wall tent with a 50 cal Barrett sniper sticking out. And it just says camping. And camping is a pretty well-known term in the video game world for someone that sits in one spot and just shoots anyone that walks by, because it's a lot easier than running around and getting your butt riddled with bullets from another 12-year-old across the country. So I thought that was kind of fun. And then we have a new modern musket patch. We changed up the colors, so it's a green rifle with black background and white text, so it's a little bit more tactical looking.
So it's not blue like this one?
No, it's not blue like that one anymore. But good on you for wearing that patch this time.
Well, here, you want to know why? Because I couldn't wear the 1911 patch because I got the shirt on.
Yeah.
Yep. So
So you couldn't flash too much. Huh?
That's right.
Boy, you were just on point tonight because we're going to talk about 1911 later on in the new product.
Well,
so, man.
Way to be the guy that goes to the show wearing the shirt of the band you're looking to see.
He doesn't buy concert shirts. He just wears them to the show.
That's it.
You mean I went to work with this stuff on and this is how I came home and we just happen to be talking about this stuff,
What's that like to be able to wear a shirt with a gun on it to work and not get sent home for some kind of nonsense violation?
I don't know. You tell me.
Freedom must be amazing.
Yeah. Well, you want to know the amazing part? My son has some match shirts from the ABC House match that we have here every year, and he wears them to school.
Nice.
And they've never said anything. So,
Knock on wood.
Yeah, if they will, they'll just tell them to turn it inside out or something. Yeah. Most of them,
right? Because it's better that you look like you're too stupid to dress yourself than have something someone doesn't like printed on your shirt.
You haven't met my son.
But we have met his dad, so it does kind of paint a picture.
Exactly. You can pretty much guarantee
the apple doesn't fall far from the potato.
And then, anyway, we got another patch on the website, Patches Against Humanity. So if you guys ever played Cards Against Humanity, it's just a black card and a white card. One ended my last relationship, and the white card is an AK-47. So those are the 3 new patches we have on the store. We are working on a Patch of the Month club with a pretty sweet exclusive patch. And as soon as Jake kind of gets that put on the website and rolling, I'll let you guys know about that.
Hey, where's my freak flag patch?
I filed that idea in the round filing cabinet, along with your danger noodle.
Hey, that wasn't mine.
Apparently, Chad's wife is not a fan of the danger noodle.
I think I'm gonna need some backstory on that one. Might have to wait till after the show. Huh?
He used to double as a lounge singer called Flacido Domingo.
All right, it's a snake. That's what she nicknamed snakes.
She didn't do it. Somebody on the internet did.
Oh well, okay then. Then we got a new listener support program for the Firearms Radio Network. So if you go to firearmsradio.tv, the website for the FRN, you can pledge your support to a podcast, this one, or if you're a fan of better shows, all the other ones.
I thought, so it's a support group as to like donate money. I thought you meant like a support group if you were traumatized by listening to the show.
Well, it could be that too. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it could be that. The more money you send me, the better I'll make the show.
Or the more
I mean, if I get enough show, I'll never let Rob or Tony on again.
Whoa.
Whoa. It's like a ransom, but opposite.
Pay me to never come back.
That's right. And then Black Bag Resources has a new coupon code all the way out to October 11th. Don't get it twisted. Gets 10% off anything in the survival category for the National Preparedness Month. How's that sale going?
How would I know?
How would you know?
I don't know.
Has anyone used it yet?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I didn't want to put that out there, but you put me on the spot, so nobody's interested just yet. But on the upside, I'm adding a whole bunch of stuff to the store every night. So if you didn't find what you were looking for yesterday, check back tonight. There's always something new.
Didn't you just revamp your website too?
I did. I sprung for the unlimited package, so I went from the puny little pathetic store trying to load it back up to the full functioning store that I had previously. It's going to take me a couple more weeks to get the several hundred products back in there, but I'm working on it very diligently, much to my wife and son's chagrin. Daddy disappears behind the computer for a couple hours every night.
Yeah. And then also wanted to plug the TGC store. So the Gun Collective, John Patton, he has his own products, and Patriot Patch is fulfilling it for them. So not only am I designing them, but we're also fulfilling those orders, getting people that same free shipping and customer service from as if you bought it from us. So tgcgear.com is the website. And now it's actually store.theguncollective.com. It forwards to the same store. But he's got some pretty sweet stuff on there. The Guntrepreneur shirt makes a comeback with a couple of design changes. He's got a Guntrepreneur keychain as well as TGC branded hoodies, long sleeve shirts, and short sleeve shirts. And for every $5 you spend, not only do you get some sweet stuff, but you do get an entry into a huge giveaway, $4,500 value, which is about a $3,000 semi-automatic rifle and a $1,500 hunting trip with John Patton, and I don't know where he's going to have it at. So that's pretty awesome. And there's going to be new products added to that store, probably on a monthly basis. So keep an eye out for that too if you want to get more entries, but you want to look at getting some new stuff, some new exclusive stuff that I designed. Check that out.
Guntrepreneur 2.0, pretty exciting.
Yeah. So now we're going to get on to the main topic, and Chad is here. Yay. And Chad is going to review a compensator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I am. So, tonight, we have the Odin Works Atlas 5, which we actually discussed a little bit on episode 136. See, I actually looked it up. It's amazing. And so what we have is the Atlas 5. I can so here it is, kind of halfway screwed on a gun or an upper. It is a compensator that basically has three parts: an outer shell, a nut that holds it together, and an inner compensator. And if you look at the pictures on the Firearms Insider, you can see how it kind of comes apart. I did not want to take it apart because it's a pain in the butt to reset it afterwards. Not really a pain, but I didn't want to have to do it. It is made, the inner is made of 416 stainless. And I kind of think that, I did not try it this way, but I think if you unscrewed the outer pieces and left the inner compensator, it would still work fairly well. That's just my opinion. But so, installation of the Atlas. Basically, remove the old one, screw on the new muzzle body. It uses a 7/8 inch wrench, which I didn't really care for because the standard is for most AR accessories is a 3/4 inch wrench. Would have been nice if they could have made it with a 3/4 inch, but that's okay. Then you slide on this aluminum, actually titanium, muzzle piece. And then the outer nut, you screw it on. And once you set the outer shell in place, let me take it off here to show you. It makes it easier. It's got so-and-so, and it's got a hole in the top. So you put it up, set this on, and then you tighten this outer nut on. And then there are three little set screws on the inside. You probably can't see them here, and then that puts pressure on the thing to keep the whole thing tightened together. So that's one thing that's kind of nice. You can adjust it at the range. So if your muzzle jumps up and right, turn the shell slightly to the right, so that'll help compensate that, and vice versa for if it runs to the left. You can also, if you would like more downward pressure, they say you can drill this little hole out, but go slow as you do to get it to do exactly how you would like it.
That's through the titanium sleeve?
Yes, it's through the titanium sleeve. There's
I think
a little hole in the top.
Titanium's kind of hard to machine, so like Chad said, just go real slow on that.
real slow, and it's more so I think they say slow because you don't want to make it too big also. So just really small increments. So how's it work? It works pretty good. It's not actually the best compensator I've used, but it is far from an A2 muzzle brake or no brake whatsoever. So that's good. It reduced the felt recoil down a lot. I mean, no real way to test it, but put it to your shoulder, shoot a bunch of stuff, and put a normal one on without the comp and shoot it. It seemed to work better on my 16-inch barreled rifles than I have it on an 11.5-inch SBR. And it worked okay, but not quite as good as on the 16-inch. But I leave it on the 11.5-inch because once you time it for a particular rifle, there's no crush washers or shims needed. So you just screw the thing on. It's timed, and you can unscrew it. And in that case, I run a suppressor on that rifle quite a bit. So if I want to take the suppressor off, then I can just screw the muzzle brake on. It works great. That's one of the pluses I have gave it. The Atlas 5's kind of a trade-off as far as muzzle brakes go. On one side, you can easily adjust it. Other side, it doesn't work quite as well as a true dedicated compensator. With all that said, it's really nice for someone who removes the comp a lot, still wants it to actually work as a comp and not have to re-index it every time. So, it's kind of a short review because there's not all that too much to a compensator. But we'll get on to the 8 key points here. The claim to fame is adjustable rifle compensator that does not use crush washers or shims for timing, which is pretty cool. So the target market's AR-15 users that want a compensator that's easily adjusted or easily timed, or 3-gun shooters if they seem to always want something adjustable. Features and benefits. It's a 3-piece design. It's stainless steel and titanium, so you're pretty much it's not going to rust on you ever, probably. It uses your standard half 28 threads. It is 2.56 inches long total. It's 1 inch in diameter. It weighs 4.1 ounces, which is probably about par for most of those. You can also get an Atlas 7, which is the 7.621 for 30 cal. It is made in the USA. Like I said, the other options you can get are the 7.62 30 cal one. So we'll skip over the links to the reviews, and what other people say is kind of, yada, yada. The price, it is $99 MSRP at Odinworks. You can get it at Brownells for a whole $94.05. Why the 5 cents? I don't know. So if you need it now, one of those two should get you there. The pros, it's easily adjustable. You don't need crush washers, shims. It does a good job keeping the muzzle on target. It reduces recoil. Not that us personally probably think there's much to it, but the cons, doesn't use a standard 3/4 wrench, which is your standard. If you have an AR armorer's tool, that's the size that's on it. That's kind of a small gripe. It's loud because, well, it's a compensator. So, if you've used a compensator, you pretty much know that they're quite a bit louder than other type muzzle devices. And it does not come with instructions. So you have to go to their Odinworks website, and under their FAQs, it explains how to time it and adjust it. So the score, I gave it a 7.5, which was good. And they did supply this for review, so it is a Fireline review. You guys got any questions?
I do.
Yes.
2, actually. You said it didn't come with any kind of directions. Did it come with any packaging whatsoever?
It does have packaging. It's a little kind of blister pack with a sheet that says, Atlas 5, yada yada. But even on the back of it, it doesn't really say, about like the 3 screws on the front, what to do with it. It just kind of says, it's a muzzle brake.
Yeah.
Dear
that's pretty
Odin
weird.
Works, please add some directions to your packaging.
Yes.
Not that difficult, and saves everybody a lot of aggravation. All right, my second question. Any issues with it working itself loose, since there's no crush washer or shim holding it in place either?
I have not had any problems with it working loose. They actually recommend actually snugging it down with a wrench. But I haven't had any problems with just screwing it on by hand. They have a good flat surface, so it seems to latch on pretty good and stick. You know how they kind of do that. So I have not had any problems. I'm not saying that you wouldn't if you didn't tighten it down with a wrench. But like I said, for that particular purpose, I put it on and off, and I've hardly ever shoot that particular gun without the suppressor on it, just because it's so loud anyway. But I did run it with a 16-inch for quite a while. Put quite a few rounds through it on there to make sure, and I had tightened it on there with a wrench. So that's the best I can answer.
No, that's fine. Listen, if it's not walking off, it's not walking off. That's.
I can tell you that this same SBR will walk an A. I actually have an A1 flash hider that I've used on it because it doesn't have the bottom, so you don't have to index it, and it'll walk off. So, but who knows if that's just a cheap A1 flash hider or what?
Right.
I don't know if it would be an adequate one to pin, because it has threads on the end where you thread the outer nut on. So a lot of the states where you have to pin a muzzle brake on, you can't have threads. And since it has threads on the end, I don't know if it would qualify for that or not. I just wouldn't try it if it were me.
Pin both ends.
Not that anybody's giving legal advice, but
Exactly.
based on what I know from New Jersey, at least, I don't think it would be an issue, because even if you take that off and you take the outer sleeve off, it's still a muzzle brake. It's still a pinned muzzle brake. So whether or not you're removing that outer sheath, you've still got that muzzle brake there, and it's not like you can then thread something else onto that other than the end cap that it comes with, right?
Right, because I didn't even check the threads to see what they were, but there's some non-standard thread pitch for a barrel.
Here's an idea: put a suppressor on after the compensator.
Right.
Yeah, that would work
perfectly.
Okay.
Hey, it works in Fallout.
What was that camping patch?
Yeah. Well, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Except, what took you so long?
For what?
Ouch.
Just kidding.
Well, yeah, what was it? It's been the last, not this week, but the week before and the week before that I had it done, and was just stuff came up and I just couldn't make the show. So
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know.
So now we're going to get on to the new products we're going to talk about this week. We're going to be talking about 2 handguns, 2 of my favorite firearms manufacturers. And for this one, actually, I have my own little tactical Ruger Mark III out, since we're going to be talking about the Mark series. Let me show you the side without the serial number. There you go. Ha ha ha. So Ruger has finally paid some more attention to one of their more popular and more controversial firearms, as far as their 22 pistols. Not controversial in the sense of is it good, is it bad, and more controversial as far as everyone hates the way it gets taken down. Well, Ruger, obviously, they take the words takedown very seriously, because you have a takedown 1022, you have a takedown SR 556. So now they've produced essentially a takedown Mark III but they didn't like the sound of that, so they're just calling it the Ruger Mark IV. So obviously the Mark pistols are very popular and very well known and iconic in the 22 long rifle pistol category. The Mark IIIs have been out for a very long time. They've obviously jumped to the 22 45s, a little bit of variation in there, going the more tactical route, lightweight, that kind of thing. Well, they finally addressed the issue that everybody has with the Mark IIIs and Mark IIs, is you can't take it down without pointing it up in the air, squeezing the trigger, pointing it upside down, squeezing the trigger again, standing on one foot, whistling the Star Spangled Banner. There's just a lot of steps in taking it down, and if you don't get it right, it's just going to be hours of headache and probably going to end up
if you don't sacrifice the livestock in the right order, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, this right here, I actually sold the upper to this Mark III pistol and put on this Tactical Solutions Pack Light, because I wanted a threaded barrel. And actually, it's a much more easy time to take it apart, not having that factory upper with this factory lower. It's still a pain in the butt. If I take this thing shooting and, me and my buddies were all cleaning our guns and somebody offers to clean my 22 for me, and if I see them across the room taking a paper clip to the mainspring housing, I will slow motion run across the room going, no, don't do it. Because it is really that bad.
It's not.
And there's lots of videos on YouTube and even Ruger's website telling you, oh, it's easy. This is how you do it. But in practice, I mean, I've even had to take this back to my gunsmith because I beat it so hard with a rubber mallet that I broke. I bented some internals, and so he had to bend it back. And then he actually he took away my mallet. He said, you don't deserve this anymore. So anyway, they've came up with a new Mark IV that is probably the easiest takedown of any 22 rimfire pistol on the market today, short of a revolver.
Congratulations on going from worst to first.
Yes, right. So there's literally a button in the back, right underneath the bolt in the lower frame there, that you press that button and the top literally just hinges up and off, and you could separate the upper from the lower with the pivot hinged in the front. So obviously that's the biggest advantage that they've incorporated. Now you can thoroughly clean your pistol instead of just running a bore snake through the barrel and calling it good, because that's what I've been doing for years now. I'm just going to spray the inside with some Rem oil and sing a couple prayers and call it good.
That's pretty much it. You just hose down the internals and run a bore snake through it. That's what I do with mine.
Yeah. And not only that, but they didn't stop there. They changed the safety and the instead of having this kind of round safety right here, it kind of looks like a push button safety from like a Remington 870. But no, this thing actually slides up and down. Yeah, it slides up and down. They've replaced that with something more familiar with like a Glock or a 1911. It's got a thumb, little ledge for your thumb.
Got that Glock safety, Ron?
Yeah. No, not Glock safety. I was thinking this slide release, that kind of ledge.
I just had to call you out so you didn't get the hate mail on it.
I appreciate it.
Welcome back, TJ.
Yeah. And then instead of having just this little bent piece of metal here for the bolt release, they replaced it with another similar ledge, but it gives you a little bit more leeway and leverage for your thumb to actuate that. Because trying to lock the bolt back on this guy using just that little insignificant piece of bent metal there, it's kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, especially with some of those, with like the wood grips and stuff like that. They're too thick. And I see yours has like a little scallop, but the set I have on mine, they're too thick, and you have to literally get my fingernail in there to push it up. Like I can't do it instinctually. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So I like that newer, the big bulky lever. I mean, it's not huge, but it's a lot bigger than previous models. So that's really nice. This whole thing. all the new control editions, those are really good because that little bitty, like you said, button, it really doesn't look like a safety. It looks like a push pin, a little push button. So I like that they changed its safety to like more kind of what do you call it?
More
like,
intuitive.
Yeah, like a traditional style safety, I guess. And that takedown, I've personally never really had. Granted, it's not the easiest. It's not like taking down a Glock, but I've never had much of a issue taking down mine. But granted, it's a Mark 1, not a Mark 3, so it doesn't have all the mag disconnect safety and stuff like that. That makes it even harder. And then it's kind of funny, like you tilt it forward and then you just pick it up and it comes right off. Watching somebody do it, it's almost kind of goofy looking just to see the gun just fold in half and then you pull it apart because it takes down kind of like a AR to where it tilts forward. Like you take the rear pin out and it tilts forward, but you have to take the front pin out. But this one, it just kind of hooks on that front pin. So that's pretty neat.
Yep. So they have 2 models out right now, the Target model and the Hunter model. The Hunter is very similar to the Mark III Hunter Edition, which, fun fact, that was my very first pistol ever. When I was of age, my dad asked me, what kind of gun do you want? And I said, I want this. Because it looked kind of space age to me at the time.
And that's why it's the centerpiece at the Ryan Cross Museum.
That's right. So it's got a bull barrel with some heavy fluting on there to reduce some of that weight. It's got wood grips, and of course it does have a little bit longer sight radius than the Target version. The Target version has black grips. It's got a bull barrel, but it's not fluted at all, and it is a little bit shorter there.
Yeah, so that's a 6.8 inch barrel on the Hunter, and then I think the what's the other one called?
Target
again. The Target is a little bit shorter than that, probably about a 5.5 or so.
Yeah. Yeah. Either one.
Did we mention it's ambidextrous? The not the magazine. The safety is ambidextrous.
Nope. We did now though. It looks like the front sight.
Welcome back, TJ.
That's right. Picking up the slack. I like it. The front sights on both are a little different. The Target just has a very simple black blade, and the Hunter actually has a little fiber optic rod in that front sight. That's kind of traditional what came on my original Mark III Hunter, so I think they're probably just keeping the same iron sight hardware on that.
Yeah, I think this. I'm not necessarily too interested in this one, but if they do one of these in like the 2245 Lite, that would be really cool. It'd be a little better simulation of more wider range of guns with the new controls, and then that added takedown would be a lot nicer. So that'd be really cool to see.
Yeah,
Hopefully
I imagine
with that before too long.
They definitely will, and hopefully, since the Ruger makes their own suppressor, for God's sakes, they'll put out one that's got a threaded barrel, because I'm not interested in either of these unless I can attach the suppressor to the end of it.
Yeah, if they do I think their 2245 Lite has the threaded barrels, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
So hopefully, if they do that, they'll put the same type of upper. I did. Thank you.
Come
Chad.
on, we're classier than that, buddy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, based on what we've seen from Ruger in the last, it should be another maybe 2 or 3 hours before you guys get the variants you want on this, because they're putting something out like every 20 minutes at this point, whether it's a new variant of the 1022 or the American rifle or the Predator version of the American or whatever. They're not wasting any time getting it all done and out there. So I don't think we're going to be stuck with just these 2 options for very long.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both stainless. Undoubtedly, they'll come out with a blued version as well.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like since I was gone is the magazine disconnect. Did you guys talk about that?
Is that still present?
Yeah, it says magazine disconnect prevents discharge when the magazine has been removed.
Yeah, that's a little annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I think.
Unfortunately, I think that's a trend that's focused more on new shooters coming into the sport that maybe haven't had the safety training when you talk about the boom we've seen in the industry.
Right.
And it seems like they're doing that on everything. I've got the LC9S here, and it's the same thing on this. There's the magazine disconnect there. They've done away with some of the other goofy safety things like the crazy chamber indicators and stuff. But
Oh yeah.
I think that magazine disconnect is here to stay.
Yep.
Yes. So that is something we didn't mention, was that little plastic chamber indicator that pokes out the left side of the upper receiver on the Ruger Mark series, the Mark III. I think they started that with. So that's gone on the Mark IV, which is good because I know a lot of people hated that. It's just like a cheap little plastic hunk just kind of jammed in the side of your gun for the sake of appeasing some politician somewhere, you know.
I am going to ask something non-related. So Sean, on that LC9, it came with the little plastic orange whatever magazine.
Right, the dummy magazine.
I wonder if these do, because that, if you insert the dummy mag, it'll fire the gun then. So I was just curious if maybe these come that way too.
I wonder if you need to if you need to decock it to disassemble it anymore though, with the new takedown system.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. But yeah, I was just curious about that. Maybe they did that with this, or who knows? You never know.
Yep. I'm going to say probably not, because generally you don't want to dry fire or rim fire.
Right.
Well, I think with Ruger, a lot of time, they've been really good about their rim fires. What they do is they put a little cross pin in the bolt to where it doesn't let it go far enough to strike the I guess chamber face. At least with the 1022, and I believe they do that on the Mark series as well, but I don't remember offhand. I don't know if they do with their SR22 or not, but I'm pretty sure
I think they did. They do in the Mark series. I think it started in like the 2 or 3. The originals didn't, but yeah, I think you might be correct. But I haven't really taken it apart.
You can dry fire an SR22 because I remember reading that in the manual.
Right. Ryan, can you go ahead and take your Mark III apart real quick and let's see if it has that cross pin?
Yeah, let me just get a safety pin, a mallet, some rosary beads, and
you don't need that to take it apart. That's to put it back together.
Oh yeah, take it apart. Yeah, that's easy enough to do. But I will never do it ever.
And if you stand on your head, stand on your head when you put it back together, and it works way easier.
Well, the thing is that there's a kind of a hanging pin in here, and someone in the engineering department thought it would be clever. Oh, when you're putting it back together, in order to get the mainspring housing to really fit back in there, you point it up in the air and then dry fire with a magazine in or out, or one of the two, vice versa. And that pin, gravity lets that kind of fall into the place it's supposed to be in. But the fact that you have to take the mag in and
inverted.
out. Yeah, you have to. Nice Top Gun reference.
Thank you.
Yep. So yeah, I look forward to seeing this make its way to all of the Rugers. There, as far as the different models of the 2245 series, they're really nice. They've got that kind of old school, what is that Japanese pistol, the Nambu?
Yeah, one of the.
It's got that style, but I mean, when I put a suppressor on mine, it almost looks like a weld rod, because it's the same manufacturer. So it just looks like the barrel just got 6 inches longer. It's nice. It's actually pretty good. I don't think I'll ever get rid of this.
Vietnam era hush puppy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's stupid quiet. They make great suppressor hosts. That's why I wouldn't jump on the Mark IV until a threaded version came out, just because it's almost a shame to do that. Yeah, unless you live in a state where you've just got no hope of getting a suppressor, like New Jersey.
You mentioned the Nambu. I think it was actually kind of modeled after the Nambu. I think Bill Ruger had a couple takebacks that he kind of designed a gun based on them. So that's pretty cool little history there.
Yep. So next up, I don't think we mentioned the MSRPs. So real quick, the Hunter is $769. Wow, numbers, I don't math well. The Target is $689. So
just have another drink, Ryan.
Yeah, right.
just for a little I guess comparison, the Mark III Hunter, I just looked it up, and the MSRP on it is $729. So it's about $40 more.
Not hateful
to get those added features.
I think what was it? It's got to be. It was over like 15 years ago or 18 years ago when I first got mine. I think my dad paid about $500 something for it.
Yeah, now those are the MSRPs, so
Yeah.
it's going to be cheaper anyways.
That's impressive. I can't remember what I was doing at 6 years old.
I was shooting cans and keeping the backyard terrorist free. That's what I was doing.
Nice.
So next up, we got another 1911 from Remington. This is actually a 10 millimeter 1911 that they introduced a little while ago. So they're trying to step into the 10 millimeter game. It's the R1. The price point, the MSRP is $1,310. And they've got this thing modeled after some of their kind of more enhanced 1911s, I think. It's got the VZ grip, that the G10 grip panels. It's got a 6-inch stainless match grade barrel. It's got a accessory rail in case you wanted to mount a light or laser, or we discussed earlier before we started the show, maybe a bipod or a monopod that you may or may not grip vertically.
Depending on whether or not you've applied for your tax stamp.
Right. It does have fully adjustable match sights. It does have extended beaver tail grip safety, and the trigger is adjustable. It's skeletonized, and the finish is a PVD DLC finish, so it's a pretty durable finish. I believe Lone Wolf has started to provide that as well on some of their Glock slides. It comes with 2 8-round magazines, and it's just stainless steel slide and frame throughout. I think that it's a little ridiculous at the price point, being that it is a Remington product. However, having the first 19, or not the, I'm sorry, not the first, but when Remington kind of got into making 1911s, like how many years ago? 5 years ago. I bought the R1, and it's really, like, it feels like the slide is riding on ball bearings. It is probably out of my 2 1911s that I own, and all the 1911s that I've cycled when I was working at the gun shop, I'll just call it Schmabella's. I still haven't really felt one that was as smooth operating as the R1 that I own, especially those Kimbers. Oh God, not even gonna go there. So I'd like to see. I'm not saying this is junk, obviously, because Remington's kind of got like a black eye still in the gun world as far as the consumers are concerned. But I think they missed an opportunity to be at a more entry price point to nail all the people that want to get into shooting 10 millimeter. Because we talked about before the show, well, wait, doesn't the rock star of lower cost 1911s already offer a 10 millimeter? Rock Island Armory, that is. Oh, yes, they do. They have
a few of them,
ranging about $800 as the MSRP. So street price, you're looking at $7 something. And with the same features, give or take an inch off the barrel length. So why would you get this Remington if it's not offering anything more than the Rock Islands? So that is the question.
I'm really feeling Tony's influence on the show right now.
I know.
It's really hard. The reason you would buy this one over one of the others is because it's probably the only 10 millimeter pistol that Remington makes that works.
Well, we don't know that for positive.
It doesn't have
We don't know that this one works.
We don't.
This is true. I would really hope so for the price, but
I volunteered Chad as tribute to go out and buy one and let us know. You have to qualify with it too, by the way.
Well, I can just.
Did Terry ever send us his qualifications?
No.
Did we ever get the actual qualification specs from Terry? Terry, if you're listening, which according to your message, you're probably not. But
hold on.
No, he is.
Put together the test for us so that we know exactly what you expect from this firearm that Chad's going to test.
Well,
I'll send him an email right after the show's done.
Well, first of all, we're not bagging on listeners anymore. We're over that. We're past that.
We're only bagging on people like Tony.
It was merely a request. It was not bagging on Terry.
We can only bag on guests and panelists and the host, obviously. But being the host of this podcast, I think it's pretty reasonable to say I could come up with a list of qualifications first you gotta either have shot the thing if you don't own it or own it, but you would hopefully pull the trigger on something before you review it. That's kind of number one in my qualification.
I would say so too.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only qualification I have. If you haven't shot it, then you don't get to review it. If it does not go bang, if it's like a scope or a knife or anything, just hopefully you used it for over a week.
And drug it through behind a truck, as Tony would say.
Yeah, you got to run it through a truck. You got to see if it shoots underwater, obviously. Just kidding.
So back to the R1 10 millimeter.
Right. Thank you.
Reel it in, Chad.
Good transition.
It didn't say that. It looks like the pictures show a fiber optic front sight. I don't remember us mentioning that, so it may or may not have a fiber optic front sight, which it's kind of nice to have. I don't know, depending on what you could actually get one of these for street price, it may or may not be a good deal. I mean, if you're into 10 millimeters and hunting with them and just are in love with the 1911 platform, I mean, you're probably not going to get a thinner 10 millimeter pistol, so maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I'm cheap, so I'm not going to buy one of these. I'm going to buy one of the Rock Islands. But, you know, the finish on this might be better. It looks like it's got the ambi safety. You know, hey, it's got a rail, so like we said, you can always put a bipod on it and shoot it with the bipod.
Yeah. Well, actually, I've been watching videos on YouTube of people taking like SIG 10 millimeters and shooting and hog hunting with them because of just the added challenge. And it's pretty impressive when they put a 10 millimeter round just right in the skull of a pig and just drop it like a sack of potatoes. It really makes me want to get into the caliber for sure. But if I was to get in, I would say I wanted a 10 millimeter, and I decided I wanted to go with a 1911 style over like a Glock 20 for, I don't know, whatever reason. I wanted to feel nostalgic, but at the same time, I wanted to be high speed, low drag, new school. Then this would be an interesting option. I do like the sights because they are supposedly going to be more conducive to accurate shooting because if you're hunting with it, because it is the 10 millimeter Hunter, one would assume that you want to be taking pokes out 50 yards in, you know, that extended range. So it's really important that they have nicer sights on there.
Yeah, it looks like they've got a blacked out rear adjustable sight, and then with rear serrations, you know, to cut down glare, and then they have the front fiber optic, like Chad mentioned.
Yeah, like they got that fiber optic front on their enhanced R1s, so safe to assume that is the same.
Yeah.
So, it's still. Why would you not get the Rock? Why would you not get the Rock Island? Why would you not take the Tony way out?
Because you're a Remington fanboy.
Or you've just got the money to spend, and you feel like getting the what you feel is the better quality brand.
Yeah, and
I've heard complaints about the Rock Island that, you know, if you wanted to change something out, it can be difficult because everything's kind of hand fitted together.
Yeah.
Where, you know, higher end manufacturers are a little more consistent in their manufacturing processes, and it's easier to replace parts. Beyond that, you know, for my money, yeah, I'm not spending the extra $500-600 to do the Remington, but it is what it is when it comes down to it. Just don't get it twisted.
The thing is it would be really nice to go to like one of those big box stores and set, you know, this one next to a Rock Island and, you know, feel them and see which one you'd get a better idea which one is it going to be worth the money or not. I mean, just by looks and feel, it might be finished nice enough and fine enough that it's worth the extra $400 or $500.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm going out on a limb here, okay?
Conversely, maybe you're a gun snob and refuse to have the cheaply made Rock Island Armory, and you want the best of everything. So
that's possible. But if you are that gun snob, then have you seen the SIG?
How about
you're right.
Right.
Yeah.
If you
Maybe
Maybe
can,
you're an aspiring gun snob.
There you go.
that's true. You got to start somewhere. Just don't get a Taurus, for God's sakes. My buddy got a 1911 before I ever did, and he got the Taurus. And now that I've grown my level of knowledge and acumen of different manufacturers, there's not a day that goes by I don't tell him to get rid of that Taurus. But
I have a PT 1911 and love it.
I've heard their 1911s actually shoot pretty good. You can't change any parts on them, can you?
It's great because it's got this secondary feature where if you shake it in a consistent motion, it sounds like a metronome. So you could use it to properly time things because it has so much rattle to it.
So it's like an old GI issue one.
Yeah. Looser tolerances for better combat effectiveness.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so there's that. If you're in the market for a 1911 in any caliber, the best advice I give you is try them out. At least go to a store and rack the slide and see what it's all cracked up to be. Because I've had a lot of people, get your fondle on. So moving on from that, we don't really have any listener feedback to discuss on the air. And here's where I would usually give Tony the mic and let him talk about the second is for everyone. But in his absence, Sean here is going to do his best to fill that role. So go ahead, buddy.
You got to do it in
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Thursday, October 6th at the Gun for Hire Range in Woodlawn Park, New Jersey. Please come join us for the Second is for Everyone Diversity Shoot, where we will highlight New Jersey Second Amendment organizations and your opportunities to get involved in the Second Amendment fight in New Jersey. There will be free rentals, pizza, door prizes, raffles, giveaways, all kinds of awesome stuff that Tony has worked really, really hard to put together, and that's why I made sure I got my butt on the show this evening to cover for him and get that information out there. Please attend if you are able. If not, you can also go to his website, simonsastrain.com or thesecondisforeveryone.com. I believe they both lead to the same place, and you can make a donation there.
Nice.
I did that way too fast compared to the way Tony does it, didn't I?
Yeah.
But oddly enough, you did it way better, too.
Thank you. Tony, you're fired from your own organization.
I think it's the mustache allows him to do it more better.
Mo better.
So, and following that, I'm also plugging another Second Amendment group. The Gun Owners Action League in Massachusetts is having a fundraiser to try and fight the unconstitutional gun ban that the MA Attorney General put down for 1911 or AR-15s, and other black rifles and other scary-looking rifles. So right now, if you go to their booster.com kind of fundraiser, they have a Tyranny It's Back t-shirt. It's only $15. It's blue, and that money goes directly into the efforts to get that repealed and fight those, fight the good fight and fight those unlawful gun legislations. So I got the link for that in the show notes.
If you're watching on YouTube, it's currently stretched across my man boobs. There
nice.
You get you some of that.
You guys are such on point this week. I love it.
We try.
That's right. Or maybe I'm making it too easy. Nah.
Hey. We're your short bus A squad.
That's right. So that said, I guess we're going to wrap up the show. So send questions or comments to our new email address, gungearreview@gmail.com. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. Check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv. And be sure to visit the Firearms Insider website for reviews and industry coverage. So guys, thanks for joining me this evening, and I will catch you guys on the next week's episode.
All right, see you later, guys.
Welcome back, TJ. Feel better, Tony. Bye, Felicia.
See y'all later. Thanks.